Look, AI is better than humans now. We lost. Goodbye. That's how most people feel right now, and honestly, I felt just the same way. But I got some good news. I'm gonna fix it, because while AI is starting to replace jobs, it's also creating new jobs, jobs that are future-proof, somewhat, in demand, and most don't require a college degree. And so when a ship is sinking, what do? Do you sit around and wait for a disaster, or do you get on a life raft or at least climb on a door? Now, I've got a life raft, but it's not that big, so grab your seat. Okay, first up is gonna be AI quality assurance. And look, I get it, it sounds like the most boring job ever, and it kinda is, to be honest. But because it's a little bit boring, it's also stable, and it actually pays surprisingly well while everybody else is getting replaced or laid off by AI. Because you know what's worse than staring at numbers all day? It's being broke, having no job, and not being able to afford the life you want, or even basic needs because of a massive inflation and recession, and that's a very common thing today. So what's AI quality assurance? Well, you know how AI sometimes spews out nonsense, like when a customer service bot of an airline accidentally sent an innocent woman to the wrong country. I mean, is she responsible too for not checking her ticket before getting on the plane? Yeah. But do you think the courts care, or do you think they're getting sued anyway? Yeah. They got a nasty lawsuit. Now, companies building these AI models and companies building software relying on these AI models need it to work. Not just most of the time, but honestly, all the time. And that is why quality assurance analysts are in such high demand, because AI is moving so quickly and everything's being built with it. Now, your job is not to build anything or create complicated AI infrastructure, it's to test it for reliability, biases, hallucinations, check that everything works and your AI does what it's supposed to do. You test it, you sign it off before deployment, and this job is only becoming more and more important as AI is being integrated into every aspect of our society. Imagine in healthcare, like what a mistake with AI could mean, or education, transport, like the flights, everything. Now, it does require somewhat of a technical background in quality assurance or IT, but it's not that complicated and you're not building or programming any of these things. Now, I'll give this job a solid 7 out of 10, slightly lower because it's mostly for tech people and very boring. Next up, everybody's talking about AI, right? Managers are saying, we need this, we need that, but one guy is shaking his head filled with fear whenever the managers say something like that. And that's going to be the AI cost analysis. Now, companies are paying a lot of money for AI, like serious numbers. Whether it's for their support chatbot or their internal systems, everything can get pretty expensive. And everybody just sees the innovation, the new stuff, but the AI cost analyst sees the inefficiencies and he looks at the $3 million AI bill and smiles because it could have been 4 million without his work. Now, as you might guess, if you can save a company millions, you're worth a lot to the company, which is a good place to be, both to negotiate salaries and to be future-proof in your position. And so it's all about knowing which models to use, when to fine-tune them, when things are getting too expensive, and when to keep going or when to shut things down. I think this job is going to explode in growth in the near future, and here's why. AI companies have all been kind of competing for the market share, like OpenAI and ChatGPT, Anthropic and Claude, Google and Gemini, etc. And they have been subsidizing their models, basically pouring their money or venture capital into these models to, make them run even if they lose money on it. A lot of these AI companies are not profitable. They're not making any money. They're actually losing money every single day. But they're okay with it in the growth phase. It's kind of fine short term. These companies are getting billions from other streams of income, so they can afford it. But long term, of course, they need to be profitable, which is why I believe AI will become more and more expensive in the near future, resulting in AI cost analysis becoming a critical component for companies using it. So I'm going to give this career an 8.5 out of 10. Still pretty early though. All right, next up is going to be AI operations. Now, this stuff is scary. It was a normal Tuesday night last year when a major bank lost millions. People woke up to their accounts emptied and they couldn't even pay for lunch with their card. People who had been saving for decades in their bank account suddenly had nothing. Other people got the best day of their lives. They woke up to a new life and they suddenly had insane amounts in their accounts they could have never imagined. People thought they won the lottery or something overnight, but in reality, the bank just messed up. Social media went absolutely crazy, as you can expect, and the bank's reputation is still damaged to this day. So, Lucas, what actually happened? Well, it's pretty simple. Humans are not able to supervise billions of transactions manually. They use algorithms and AI systems to help them out with all these bank things. And their AI system, the ones that automatically deal with millions of transactions and payments every day, completely crashed. It started mixing up accounts and who the money actually belonged to, which is an absolute nightmare. The news called it a massive banking glitch, and regulators got on their throats, threatening huge fines and even taking away their entire banking license, shutting down the bank. Now, the absolutely worst thing is customers like you and I were of course freaking out that their savings would be lost forever. And that is why banks and other companies require AI operations people, the people who basically manage AI and make sure it works day to day. Tiny mistakes can lead to chaos quickly, especially in these big systems, and boring AI ops people constantly watch, test, and they're ready to stop disasters. And for that reason, they're compensated pretty well, and it's relatively future-proof as well. Because even as everything gets more advanced, it still needs multiple layers of, control and people checking it. I'll give this job like a 7.5 out of 10. It is difficult, you're dealing with critical infrastructure, so it takes a while to get into this field. But if you're starting from scratch, I think it's still definitely worth it. Moving on to business intelligence analyst. Now, in a world of data, those who can use it, they are going to win. And that's why I strongly believe in business intelligence, data analytics, data science, machine learning, all that good stuff. Now, business intelligence is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's about using data to improve decision-making by making data-driven decisions. And by doing so, we can make smarter, better choices, whether in a company, in a government, or for ourselves. And this field is seeing massive changes thanks to AI, because old tools are becoming outdated. And I guess some people are scared about this, which is totally fair. It's changing pretty quickly, but I think the jobs will be fine. They'll just become a lot more powerful with new AI tools able to deal with data in a way that we never really imagined before. So I do believe in both business intelligence and data analytics if you are willing to stay up to date, because things are changing pretty quickly. 8 out of 10. Now, next up is going to be AI content manager. So a lot of content is nowadays being created with AI. And if you've been on any social media, you've seen a lot of it, guaranteed. Even on YouTube, it's becoming a huge thing, which creates a completely new job title. Think about TV, right? You might have a channel manager on TV, somebody managing what's being put out. But now everybody can have their own TV channel using AI content. And somebody has to manage all this content, just like a social media manager, with a different focus. This job is rising quickly and is a solid place to be. So I'll give AI content management a 7 out of 10 because it's still a very new thing, and also you will be competing with other people in social media marketing that are just switching into this field. All right, next up is going to be the AI safety analyst. And most AI jobs focus on building and maintaining AI, but somebody has to ask the hard question, what if something goes wrong? And your job is to stress test the models, the apps, and anything else built with or using AI for regular issues and AI-specific issues like bias, hallucinations, privacy issues, that's a big thing, and for two reasons. First, if you're running a company, your users expect you to test these things and make sure it's safe. And we've all seen these leaks and breaches and scams leading to scandals in the news, and that's really bad for the company. But also, they're forced to by the law. More and more AI regulations are appearing regarding who's responsible, what needs to be done, etc. And for a big company, that could get very expensive if they don't prepare. So everything in AI is happening so quickly, and I truly believe this job is the future. You're not going to see a lot of job listings at the moment. It's super new, but this skill is rising in value, especially in things like quality assurance and policy making, even if you don't go for that specific job. And I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10. And then we have the AI product manager, one of my favorites. And to be a product manager, you don't need to be a tech genius or a hardcore developer. You're kind of like the pilot of the plane. You don't really build the plane or maintain it. That's not the pilot's job, but you fly it and decide where to go next. And you have your team of engineers building the AI and your products, but you'd lead the development and make sure goals are being met. Now, product management, I'll be completely honest, is already a huge field with good salaries across many industries. And so even if there's like a layoff in finance or, something else, you can still find product management jobs in engineering or other fields. And if you can specialize in AI, I do think you're setting yourself up for a very strong future because all the companies are pouring the resources into AI. And so AI is where I would like to be. And for that reason, I'll give this a 9 out of 10 score. And I don't give a 9 out of 10s very often, so keep that in mind. Now, to get these jobs, you will need skills and a certification, of course. And in this video, I show you the best AI certs popping off right now, so do check it out if you're interested. Goodbye.